Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be doing another bass tutorial. Somebody asked me if I could talk about bass steps and a little bit about a more aggressive, progressive bass sound, and they sent me a reference track and I've deconstructed that bass and we're going to take a look at it. Now, this is a little bit late, so if you're the person requesting this, sorry for the lateness. The YouTube comment system isn't really made for suggestions and those kind of things, because it's really hard once I've responded to a comment to find it again, and once it's a few days old, it's a little bit hard to find. So if you do have a request you really want, I recommend you to go into my Discord server and leave it there, as opposed to just leaving it in the comments. I used to say that you could just leave it in the comments, which you can still do, but there might be a small chance that I kind of lose them. So yeah, I try to keep track of all of them, but it's a little bit hard to do all of that. So if you have a request, it's best you leave it in the Discord server. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, so the track that was sent to me is Ulterior Motive by Predator and Nothing Neo, which is a track which has less than 500 views. So if you like the little sample that I'm going to play and you want to hear more of the track, I'm gonna leave a link in the description down below, and hopefully it can give them a small view boost through this tutorial. If you're the artist of this particular track, I hope you don't mind that I use it for this tutorial. But with that being said, let's actually play it and hear what it sounds like. So this is the reference. So it sounds very nice, and there's a lot of stuff going on. There's some bass steps, some kind of growly basses there, but I'm going to focus myself on the main bass. And this is my recreation of it. Again, there's a lot more going on in this thing than just the bass line we have here, but this is what I have. Just a simple little section of that track. And I want to mainly focus on the stab here, because there's some cool stuff going on in here. But we'll also have a look at this second one here. The main request was this stab sound and how you can make that. And to do that, what you basically do is you take, let's open it up here. You basically take a normal saw wave, but you add some noise into it. And then for the sake of this tutorial, or for the sake of making it a little bit easier, what I did is, instead of having envelopes or LFOs do the work, I decided to automate all of the different parameters here. So I'm going to quickly pull those up for you so you can actually see what's going on. So we have the two filters here doing some modulation or doing some automation, and then we have the two volumes. So we have the volume of the noise oscillator, we have the volume of the saw wave, then we have our main filter here, which is a low pass 18, which is kind of doing this, going up and then closing down again. And then we have a secondary filter here, which is just 6 dB per octave, and that's also opening up towards the end, prior to going into a distortion unit. And then we have the distortion and the compression. So it's actually a very simple sound, but the key component is getting the settings right for both the distortion and the compression. And that might depend on your taste and how much noise you want to introduce into the sound itself. And that's something you just have to experiment with. But the distortion and the compression in this case are used to kind of glue the two sounds together. So instead of, going for that very aggressive sound, we're just using it to kind of glue them together. And as you can see, the distortion is nothing crazy. If you want, you can of course go further, but then it's going to sound too aggressive for my liking. And this way we kind of maintain that the saw wave a little bit more. And so yeah, that's what's happening there. Then we introduce some stereo width here, just with this thing, which you can, for example, replace with the wider plugin if you're looking for a free version. And then I'm doing some more stereo processing here, again making sure that the bass is mono, that the mids are a little bit closer together, and that the high end is a lot more stereo. And it also comes with an exciter, so this introduces a little bit more of the high frequencies. You can do this with some saturation, multiband saturation, or you can just filter out some of the frequencies if you're going to saturate it. Then that goes through an OTT here. As you can see, these are the settings again. The main point of this OTT isn't really to make it a lot more aggressive. It's more to glue it all together. That's why I haven't set the amount too high here. And then again, we have the saturator with the same goal to just glue things together. In this case, it's important that you have the soft clip on so that you're not clipping. And yeah, so keep that in mind. And again, the drive is just set to taste, not too high. And I can demonstrate that if I turn it up a little bit more. You can hear that again, we're distorting, which we don't want. We just want to glue it together ever so slightly. So that's the main sound, that bass step here. And then I took that bass step, and as you can see, this is basically the same patch. I did make a few changes to, I think, the stereo width here. As you can see, the overall widening is a little bit less. But other than that, I don't think I did too much here, other than setting the filter cutoff here and the noise level and this final filter cutoff all to a envelope. So that's our clicky bassline here, this one. Now there's some, as you can see there, for all the automation is actually set off. So we're still using all the same settings throughout the rest of the chain. One interesting thing though is that we're doing something with the decay here. As you can see, I'm constantly automating the decay to make the clicks more or less noisy. You can hear how in this case the two click sounds differ a lot. So that's very, very cool that you can kind of change the click by changing the decay length here of your filter as well as your noise level. So that's basically everything there is to it. I don't think I did, I did do some processing here. We have another OTT. We have some slight coloring here with this LFO tool, or this EQ, sorry. Let's probably turn this off. And then finally we have the filter or the LFO tool here, which is just doing some simple side chaining. And that all together with the kick makes this. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a very cool sound to make. It was very interesting how the decay timing has so much effect on the actual sound. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.